The American Pit Bull Terrier, one of the most hated dog breeds in America. In the beginning of the 20th century, this was the most popular family dog. So what happened? Media happened. Frenzy happened. Abuse happened. Hate happened. So, just to start out, can anyone even identify a pit bull? The American Pit Bull Terrier has a broad, wide face, a solid block-like head, a muscular and defined neck, and a strong jaw. This breed has dark, round eyes and usually cropped or pointed ears. They have a short, thick, and shiny coat and can be seen in a variety of colors. They may have muscular, stocky, strong frames and a high set tail that tapers to a point. These medium-sized dogs have round, boned legs, sloping shoulder blades, and a short, sturdy back that thins towards the rear. The American Pit Bull Terrier can be described as an attractive yet intimidating breed. So, can you yet identify a real pit bull? In past generations, pit bulls were deserving of the popularity they received. They can be protective, affectionate, and give meaning to the expression man's best friend. They're also natural guard dogs and will aggressively protect their owners or offspring. There is also support saying they are an easy breed to train when they are young. However, this is where the hate comes in. If cruel owners are irresponsible and train their dogs to be violently aggressive and hostile, chances are they will take that training because of their intense need to satisfy their owners. According to many pit bull rescues, there is no such thing as a bad pit bull, only bad pit bull owners. This breed is also prone to being aggressive towards other pets. Yes, proper training can help, but their aggressive nature cannot be ignored. So, enough of the boring stuff. Let's get to the really interesting stuff. So, if you haven't realized by now, my argument is that pit bulls are not born violent, that they're raised violent. And while doing this project, according to the people who are really against this breed, the pit bull is one of the most violent, abrasive, and aggressive dog breeds in the world. My question is to those people, where are the facts to prove this? Where are the studies, documentation, and even literal proof? After some extensive research, I found minimal statistics to support the fact that pit bulls are born violent. While researching, I found the ATTS, or the American Temperament Test Society. This society performs temperament tests, or aggressiveness tests, on all dog breeds. According to their research, pit bulls are less volatile than Rottweilers or Chihuahuas. The American Pit Bull Terrier passed the test with an average of 82.6%, while the other 121 dog breeds only passed at an average of 77%. And for all the skeptics out there, the society performs these tests in a secure fashion. The dogs are not in any danger, and for these tests, each dog is placed in a number of random, confrontational situations, and at this first sign of aggression, the test was ended. The results prove that Pit Bull Terrier is less aggressive than most other breeds in the world today. Another thing a lot of haters claim is that they are more likely to kill. These stats are flawed. I hate to say it, but they really are. And not even in my own opinion. An official from the CDC says, and I quote, "There is currently no accurate way to identify the number of pit bulls or number of dogs of a particular breed and consequently no measure to determine which breeds are more likely to bite or kill. The CDC proved there is no way to tell which breeds will be more likely to bite or attack. And for every pit bull that kills, there is at least 10,000 that don't." I was an owner of a pit bull for almost 13 years, and he was less violent than our Chihuahua. He saved my life, too. My pit bull was my life, and he was raised to be a very nice dog. He wasn't born violent like everyone claims. When he was a puppy, his previous owners fed him gunpowder mixed with his food. Yeah, you heard me right, pure gunpowder. They wanted him to fight, so they fed him gunpowder to make him more violent. When my dad found out, he went to the court and got the dog taken away from them. When Max first came home, he was a little obnoxious and a little rambunctious, but he was a dog. He was a puppy. He didn't really know any better. He bit everything, including me. When I first tried to pet him, he barked like no tomorrow. He was very aggressive, even as a 2-year-old dog, who was no more than 25 pounds. But he was still a good dog. He wasn't violent towards anyone. Max was 2 years old when my dad rescued him. For almost a year before that, Max's previous owners fed him pure gunpowder. And for those who just tuned in or who don't know, feeding gunpowder to a dog will make them go crazy. However, my dad didn't really care. All he saw was a poor dog who was mistreated. My dad trained him to be a good dog. He protected the house. He kept me company when I was home alone. And like I said before, he saved my life. He was trained to be aggressive to threats. If you approached him aggressively, he'll be aggressive right back. For the almost 13 years we had him, you could count the number of times he was violent towards someone on one hand. He was a good dog. We even bred him, and none of his puppies, 21 in total, were born violent. And for those of you who don't know, there are a lot of skeptics out there who say being violent is genetic. And like many say, it's not the dog, it's the owner. In Max's case, we were able to take an unpredictable dog and turn him into the family dog he was supposed to be. He was a family dog who loved to run in the sun and just be with his family. His true family, who loved him. Yes, pit bulls can be violent, but so can any dog. However, pit bulls and every other kind of dog can be caring and be a loving pet to your family. And just in case you missed what I just pointed out, any dog can be violent and kill. Guys, look at the statistics. Male dogs are more likely to bite and attack than female dogs by 6.2%. 88% of dog attacks involving children happen when a parent or guardian or another adult is not paying attention. And as of July 2012, there were more than 10,000 reported cases of dog abuse, and 78% of those cases involved pit bulls. These dogs are not born violent, they're raised by violent caretakers. So, I'm guessing a lot of you have heard about the dogfighting scandals in the different professional sports. And for those of you who don't know, I'll quickly run through one story. A professional player and his associates started a kennel, which housed over 50 pit bulls. These dogs were trained, staged in fights, and eventually killed. They ran a high-stakes gambling ring with purses as great as $26,000. These dogs were only 50 of the more than 180,000 dogs currently involved in the dogfighting business. These dogs used in fights were not born violent. They were trained to be violent. Guys, this is only one example. If you look around today, there are so many more, whether it's in professional sports, in your own neighborhoods, or even in your own family. These dogs trained in these fights, they're not born to be violent. They're trained by people who want to gamble. They're trained by people who want to see a dog fight. They're not raised to be the good dogs they could be. They are raised to be violent. They aren't born this way. They are raised this way. So, I have a question for you guys. What's the quickest way to get information in today's day and age? Any guesses? The answer is media. With the internet in full swing 24/7, there are more and more anti-pit bull platforms appearing every day. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning what these sites believe, because I myself am a pit bull lover and owner, but don't trust everything you read, guys. My sociology professor I had my freshman year, he gave us the challenge of always questioning what we are reading. Just because someone has an opinion that was formed over hatred, don't believe, and please, 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 don't believe it's a fact. Because honestly, it probably isn't. While researching for this project, I found there are a lot of biased news stories out there, whether it be pit bulls or even just regular mixed dog breeds. Back in 2007, a study was done regarding dog attacks. The study showed the news stories related to 4 dog attacks that happened over 4 days. And yes, you heard that right, 4 dog attacks, one right after the other. The first story was about a Labrador mixed breed that sent a 70-year-old man to the hospital in critical condition. But only one newspaper covered the story. The second day, there was an attack involving a mixed breed dog that attacked a 16-month-old baby. The baby received fatal injuries, yet only 2 local newspapers covered what happened to the little child. On the third day, a mixed breed dog hospitalized a 6-year-old with a torn off ear. Yeah, a torn off ear. But only 1 local newspaper covered the attack. However, on the 4th day, 2 pit bulls hospitalized a 59-year-old woman with minor injuries. Yes, minor. And the story was all over the world, with 230 newspapers, MSNBC, CNN, and Fox. These attacks happened one right after another, and yet only one was publicized worldwide. Does anyone else see a problem with this? This is biased against pit bulls. 2 of the attacks were critical and left the people in the hospital for weeks, yet only the one involving pit bulls was publicized, and the woman wasn't even hurt that badly. In my opinion, I think fatal injuries are worse than minor scrapes and bruises that required maybe 20 stitches. Guys, like I said before, don't believe everything you read about pit bulls. Challenge what you're reading. Question whether or not they're facts. Yes, you guys can have your opinions, but is it really worth branding a breed of dog for something that is farther from the truth? In today's society, people have a strong disliking for this breed of dog just because of the way media portrays them as violent dogs. So I mentioned to you guys earlier about my dog Max. Well, when I was younger, my family and we almost lost him. One of our neighbors thought he was an uncontrollable beast and called the police because our neighbors didn't feel they were safe with our dog in the neighborhood. A few days later, I get home from school and the police and animal control are outside of our door. When I ask what's going on, my parents say they just want to take our dog away because he is uncontrollable and unpredictable. We asked what we had to do to prove he wasn't violent, to keep our dog. The police insisted we bring him outside and the police will test him to see if he reacts violently. When I brought Max outside, I had him lay down on the ground and I unchained him from the leash. The 2 police officers approached him in a threatening stance, meaning with their hands raised, with their guns in hand, and basically acting like they were going to attack me and my parents. Well, when they approached him, all he did was grumble under his breath. He stayed lying down in the middle of the street and remained calm throughout the entire test. Honestly, all he did was growl. What dog doesn't growl at approaching strangers who look like they're gonna attack him? The police concluded that he may not be too keen on strangers, but he wasn't a threat to our neighborhood. Unfortunately, he died 2 years later, but thanks to that day, The police said we will always be allowed to have a dog because we train our dogs not to be violent. The tendency is still there. It is for any dog. But our dog and most good pit bulls are raised to be family dogs. In today's society, the goal for everyone is to understand pit bulls and other dogs in general. If someone announces their dislike for pit bulls as a personal feeling, that's all right, because everyone is entitled to their opinion. However, opinions and feelings aren't facts, no matter how much you want them to be. They're just not. They're how you feel. They're not how everyone else feels, and they're not scientific. For most opinions about these dogs, there are no scientific facts or a validation to their opinion. When we as humans spread misinformation, hatred, and fear, and pass them off as facts, reputations are built, and thousands upon thousands of dogs suffer for it. So to everyone who found this video, make sure when you talk about dogs, you're creating a ripple of truth. And if you can't spread truth because you don't like that certain dog, then please step back and listen to what others have to say. You may be able to learn something from other people's opinions. And who knows, maybe you'll be persuaded to think differently. And to just wrap up here, I would like to share about my own research. I surveyed a total of 50 random people. These people come from my school, yes, my family friends, and total strangers I've never even met. During this project, 50 out of the 50 random people said that pit bulls are not born violent. Yes, they may have violent tendencies and a harsher attitude. However, they're not born this way. They're not born violent. They're raised to be that way. They're trained to be that way. It's in their personality, but any dog can be violent. Any dog can kill. Guys, don't judge the breed by what you think. Judge the breed by what you know. For me, I know in my heart that pit bulls are raised violent. But I have a question for you guys. What side are you on?